Clap it up. All right, Shalom, Yabashim Yashai Bakathum. To all the brothers, Yahweh Shemal Atham Bashim Yosai. To all the sisters, all the Akwabi. All right, let's go straight into it. Any questions? Questions in the room, questions online. No questions, no. Go ahead. You got the mic.
Sir, I had a question on being unclean. What is, I'm not exactly sure on what that all restricts you from participating in doing, but the message will about conduct yourself or knowing if you are unclean.
Okay. Basically, being unclean is something that has to do with being sanitary. It's a form of quarantining yourself. So you can be unclean. You go through the different laws at different times for specific situations. Like if a woman gives birth to a son, she's unclean for 40 days, approximately 40 days. If she gives birth to a daughter, she's unclean for 80 days. What that means is they're not allowed to come amongst the congregation. They have to be separate. So when you're doing things pertaining to the Lord, like class, high holy day, those things, they're not allowed to come amongst the congregation. The same would be for a man. If he has a certain sickness or disease, whatever, he'll be quarantined, just like COVID. When they had, what's that called? Social distancing. So that's what that's about. You may have sex. If you emit any seed from your body, you will be unclean until the sun goes down. You're supposed to take a bath, shower, obviously, you know what I mean, today. And then when the sun goes down, you will be clean again. And that's all about not bringing whatever issue you may have. If it is contagious or a sickness, you don't want to bring it amongst the people and spread it to them. So we can go through the different laws. You got to read in Leviticus the different laws, and it explains the time amount that someone is going to be unclean. So it's not something that's spooky. It's really science. It's really about medical reasons, right? And so how, like in the UPK, you're not allowed to come to camp if you're unclean. Now you can show up, but you won't be able to come amongst the camp. So you have to be outside the camp. And if you saluting someone, instead of giving them salute, Yahweh Shem Yahshua Barakatah, you would just say Shalom, Lord in Christ, and you wouldn't, touch that person, because you would make them unclean. If you're in a room and someone dies, the body is a dead body, they die when you're in the room, you're going to be unclean for 7 days. Now, if I meet you and you were around a dead body and then you touch me or dab me up, I'm unclean till the sun goes down. I take a bath, shower, and then when the sun goes down, I'll be clean again. But you will still be unclean for those 7 days. So, is there any more questions on that? You want to bring some precepts on it? Go ahead.
I was going to ask reasons a man specifically would be unclean would not be able to participate in camp.
Okay. So yeah, the main one obviously would be you having sex and you emit seed, then you will be unclean for coming to camp in that situation. For coming to class. And that would be till the sun goes down, and after you've taken a bath, the sun goes down. You just can't wait for the sun to go down. You gotta shower up. Go ahead.
So just to clarify, so as long as you did revelations during that day, you're clean. Even if you did the day before the sun went down.
Okay, like this is getting into it. Depending on what time of year it is, like right now the sun's starting to go down earlier and earlier. So you could technically have relations the morning, and if class starts at 7 o'clock, the sun is not in the sky, it's coming down, the sun is not up, the sun is setting, then you will be clean for that day. Because it's a new day. Our days start when the sun goes down. That's a new day. It's not at midnight. So we look at a new day as when the sun goes down. So yeah, it doesn't have to be all the way since the day before. It just has to be before the sun goes down. So yeah, I seen brothers and Captain Zaria, like, brothers get that timing right, you know what I mean? You be too out. Yeah, bro. Anything else on that?
Sure.
All right. Let's see. Shalom, Miss Lady Blue World. Shalom to the people on the internet. If you have any questions, go ahead and type them in the chat. Feel free to type them in the chat. All right. Let's go ahead and get into tonight's topic. We're going to talk about current events real quickly, and then we're going to go further into tonight's topic. Like I said last week, we're going to talk about the UFOs as well. But what's going on in the world right now is this Memphis riots, the Memphis 19. I've heard a whole lot of the riverboat incident. Everyone has heard about it. Everyone's talking about it. It's the talk of the town. Anybody want to give a quick breakdown on what it was and what happened and what they've seen? Go ahead. Because why you want to do it?
Concert, yeah. Over there in Montgomery, over there where they have like the little boats or trolleys or whatever, the security guard had asked this Emite to move his boat because of the trolley, or who was it, a big boat was coming in the dock.
Right.
and for some reason, the Edomite didn't want to move his boat, so the brother had grabbed the rope, moved his boat out the way. So they were unhappy with that. So, the Edomite confronted him, and they ended up jumping the brother. But when they ended up jumping the brother, man, you know what I'm saying? All kind of other brothers, was seeing it and was jumping out the woodworks. You know what I'm saying? When brother swam over there, you know what I'm saying? They call him Aquaman now. And they just ended up just mopping the Edomites.
Right. That's right. That's right. Get them brothers in, get them brothers in. That's exactly what happened, We've seen on the news, on TV for years and years and years, black people getting abused by our oppressors. We see George Floyd get a knee on his neck for 8 minutes. The brother that danced like Michael Jackson in New York got choked out a couple months ago on a subway. Countless other things where the police just sit there, beat someone, random Edomites beating brothers up, and nothing ever happens. This time we were able to see something different. And I'm going to say the reason why is because of men that are in the UPK, man. Y'all brothers going out here and waking up the consciousness of the people. Whether they fully come into the truth, their spirit is hearing what we're saying, and they're starting to understand. It's kind of like before Donald Trump, a lot of people may have been on the fence about coming into the UPK. But when Donald Trump got into office, you used to tell somebody that the oppressor was the devil and that these Edomites don't like us and that they, still hate us. They be like, nah, you tripping. Racism is gone. They used to say, when Obama got in office, they said, we live in a post-racial society. 8 years later, Donald Trump come around, everybody knew that was a lie. You understand? And so now, the things that brothers going out here teaching everybody is letting them know that we got to unite. We got to have each other's back. That's a sign of intelligence. Everyone always wants to get a little disclaimer that they're not about violence. They don't like to support violence, but they do support what them brothers did. That one thing I'm going to tell y'all, man, that was not violence. Violence is going out and harming somebody, doing something violent. You went to the bar, got drunk, you fire on somebody, that's being violent. You ride around the block looking for somebody to kill, shoot them up, that's being violent. That was not violence. That was self-defense.
Right.
That's intelligence.
Right.
That's what that was. It's not violent. That's intelligent. It's for you to protect somebody because they could have killed that brother there. Who's to think that they wouldn't have murdered this brother in front of everybody? We've seen it before. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice. Fool me 400 goddamn years later, shame on us. It's time for us to wake up, man. And that's a beautiful and glorious thing to see. Give me Zechariah chapter 5 and verse 11. Matter of fact, I think it's 11 and 5. That's what I want. Let me double check. Go ahead and find that. I'll let you know if that's right. Con, that's it right there. Yep.
This is the book of Zechariah, chapter 11, verse 5. Whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty.
Right.
And they that sell them say, blessed be the Lord, for I am rich, and their own shepherds pity them not.
Right. Read it one more time. Slow it down. Verse 5. Yep.
Whose possessors slay them.
Right. The people that possess the children of Israel, we in captivity. I saw someone try to post something on Facebook saying we're not in captivity right now. Because I don't know what, for every reason, she was looking up something and trying to make a statement that we're not in captivity. How are we not in captivity when we're in the same place that people kidnapped us and brought us to? That's like saying, y'all remember when that brother found them white girls in the basement in Ohio. He was like, dead giveaway. Dead giveaway. He's like, I never seen no white girls running no black man. I knew that something was up. He found them in the basement. They ran out. They told him there was more girls in the basement. And they had kids in that basement because the dude was raping them and having children with them. That's like saying the kids in the basement are allowed to come upstairs and live amongst their father, that they're not in captivity no more. They still kidnapped. If you do that for 100 years and they living in the house, now they going to school, they keep coming back to that house, living underneath the family of the people that kidnapped them. How are you not in captivity? You're not free until you what? Get to go home. Get to go and be with your people. That's when we will be free. When we get our own nation, when we get our own land, when we get our own culture back, right? All right. So our possessors, they slay us, they kill us, just like George Floyd, just like Oscar Grant, just like 1,000 other brothers, Trayvon Martin, Tamir Rice, countless brothers since Emmett Till, all of them have been killed in this place. Keep going.
And hold themselves not guilty.
Right, so that's what's going on right now. Right now, they're trying to convict the brother that hit that Edomite with the chair, hit the devil with the chair. They want to bring charges against him for what he did. But when situations happen like that, for us, it doesn't go that way. They want to hold themselves not guilty, not accountable, right? I'm gonna read a story that happened. Let's see when it happened. This was in Los Angeles, January 3rd, 2022. This article came out about a year and a half ago. The Los Angeles police officer who fatally shot 14-year-old Valentina Orellana Peralta in a Burlington store last month was following active shooter protocols, the police union said Monday. In the incident, in December 23rd, Officer William Jones, assigned to the North Hollywood Division, opened fire on and killed assault suspect Daniel Elena Lopez, 24, at the store, which was full of last-minute shoppers. During a search for additional suspects, police found that Valentina had been struck in a dressing room when gunfire penetrated the wall. She was hit in the chest and died in her mother's arms. All right? So, let's see. Has anybody heard about this story? Okay. Basically, what happened was, and they got video footage of everything online. It's showing you right here. There was some dude that was on drugs, methamphetamines. He was in the store. I think he picked up a battery. He had like a bike. He had some type of metal pipe with him, right? He was going around attacking random people. He was hitting different people for no reason, beating people up, and the police were called, right? And so when they were called, somebody said that he had a gun. And he did not have a gun. But the police come in with AR-15s. They hear this active shooter, and they see him. They start shooting. Somebody is behind the wall in the dressing room, 14-year-old girl, a Latina, I think she was this correct. She got killed. What do you think happened to the police officer in this situation? Go ahead.
So I guess I'll say nothing happened to him.
Why? Right, go ahead.
I'm gonna say like probably put on paid leave, if anything.
Right. But he killed somebody. Go ahead, talk about.
He held himself not guilty.
Right. They hold themselves not guilty for that situation. But what do you think? Why are they able to justify it? What?
That's like because they were following protocol to take down the active shooter.
Right. So in this situation, he didn't wake up in the morning and say he wanted to go shoot some 14-year-old girl. Well, we never know with these devils if that's what he was. But the cop 9 times out of 10 didn't want to go and shoot some 14-year-old girl. He went in there to protect everyone else from a violent situation. She got caught up in this situation. So the reason why I'm bringing that story out is because everyone can understand what happened in this situation. But with this brother, he didn't wake up in the morning and say, I want to go to the old folks' home and hit old white women over the head with a chair. He didn't even say that's my mission today is to go and knock some white woman over the head like Stone Cold Steve Austin. Right? What happened was a brother was getting attacked viciously by a pack of dogs, and that started a chain of events that led to him protecting himself and protecting the people around him with that chair. Now that devil got hit in the mix of all of that. You know what they do when it's on the other foot? If a brother starts something and the police come and they shoot you and they end up hitting a civilian, what are they gonna do? Who are they gonna charge for that person's death? If they don't hold themselves guilty, who are they gonna charge? Go ahead.
They charge the person that started the incident.
Damn right, get it put it in. And that's what should be happening right here today. That lady that got hit in the head with that chair, she should be trying to sue them devils. The police should add her assault to their charges. The same way, if you kill some innocent girl, they're going to charge you for her death because she wouldn't be dead if you wouldn't have started this crime initially. You know what I'm saying? So read that verse again.
This is the book of Zechariah, chapter 11, verse 5. Whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty. And they that sell them say, Blessed be the Lord, for I am rich, and their own shepherds pity them not.
Right. So they feel justifiable, man, in how they act, and they feel great about it. I saw another meme where they had the dude celebrating. It was a black man at the bottom of a staircase, like you go to the Olympics. He's sitting there celebrating, but then so he's really at the bottom. You go up the ladder and it's got white people, it's got people that have fathers, people that can speak English, people that can, invent all these things, and white people that rule the world. Basically, they're saying that we sit here at the bottom celebrating this riverboat when they celebrate ruling the whole world. And in one instance, it shows you the spirit that these devils have on them. That they know in their mind, they always feel superior to us because they know that their people enslaved us for this long period of time. And so on the other side, it is true. It was glorious to see our people fight back, but at the end of the day, that should just be the beginning of us coming together. That's not something, that's just a battle. That's not winning the war. Here in the UPK, we fight to win the war. Right? We want to be on top of that mountain saying that we're in control of everything. We don't have to worry about these devils oppressing us anymore. Right? So that's why it says, they that sell them say, blessed be the Lord. They feel blessed for being over us. They feel like God is with them because they are enslaving us. No different than a drug dealer that feels like God is with him because he's making money selling drugs. What Future had a song a couple years ago? God blessing all the trap niggas. He made a whole song saying that the Lord is blessing all the trap niggas. Here in the Bay Area, Filthy Rich and them cats had a song talking about the pimp God, praying to the pimp God and all that, the Mac God. You know what I mean? Like, they think that the Lord is with them on getting a new hoe, on keeping the bitches in check, like it, keeping the bras in check. That's what they think. That's how your oppressor thinks. He thinks that God is with him, and this is divine, what's that called? Manifest destiny for them to have us in the projects, to have us strung out on drugs, to have us in prisons, to have us at the bottom of everything, they feel like God is with them, man. What else does it say? And it says that, for I am rich, and their own shepherds pity them not. So that's what we've been suffering in this place. They have been making money, they feel good about it, but we don't even care about each other. The people that's supposed to be watching over us, they don't pity us. That's like brothers coming out, Candace Owens, all these different coons and sellouts. Talks about, you was talking about that. You said, what were they saying on that the brothers was wrong for doing it, or what? It was wrong for fighting back. What were they supposed to do?
Oh, yeah, it's lucky.
The Christians or whatnot?
Yeah, the Christians was just trying to find a way to make the brothers, all the brothers and sisters that helped the brother out.
Right.
They was just trying to find a way to point the finger at them and tell them they're wrong.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? When the table was turned, the Christians wouldn't say nothing about white people. Anything.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, that was just something.
Right. Yeah, okay. Let me get Exodus chapter 2 and verse 11. And this is the reason why there are two Christianities. There's Christianity for your oppressor, and there's Christianity for the slaves. The Christianity that the oppressor has says, if you come up against my nation, I can go to war with you, and I can still be a good Christian. Black Christianity says anyone can do any and everything to you, and you have to sit there and take it forever. They can sell your children, and you have to love the people selling your children. They can rape your wife, and you got to love the man that's raping your wife. That's the Christianity that we get. The Christianity that they get is hell nah. They go on to World War X if you harm one of their people. They go so far that they 9 times out of 10 they're not defending themselves. That's half of the thing. When they went to Vietnam, America wasn't defending itself. Half of these wars, they're not really defending themselves. And then on top of that, in the few instances that they are protecting something, they go above and beyond the people that are attacking them. They went and killed the people in Iraq. And the Iraqis had nothing to do with 9/11. They said there's over 1 million people over there. We forget about that. It doesn't mean anything to us. Somebody tells you they killed 1 million people, it don't mean nothing to you because you way over here. I gave a ride to somebody when I was driving Uber. She was from over there. She was from Iraq. And I was talking to her, and she was like, yeah. You could see the pain, like they killed 1 million goddamn people over nothing. Really to get some oil and get some money, etc. So really, like, you know how evil that is? Like, we sit here and talk about, it's the go-to, man. Everybody can talk about Hitler. They love to talk about Hitler, how evil he was. It's like they only want to have one person in history to be evil that can be the fall guy for the whole white race. It's Hitler. He the fall guy. He the bad guy. If you ain't do what Hitler did, you got that bad. You should be forgiven. You should be loved. But they sat right in front of us in the year 2000 and killed 1 million Iraqis, and nobody's acting like that wasn't another Holocaust for them. You know what I mean? So let's go ahead. What you got?
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 2, verse 11. And it came to pass in those days when Moses was grown that he went out unto his brethren and looked on their burdens.
Right. Moses came out from where he was living. He was living good. He He's in the mansions. He's in high society in Egypt. He's living amongst royalty. But he came he came out amongst the people, and he saw them. He saw his brothers. Keep going.
And he spied an Egyptian smiting a Hebrew, one of his brethren.
Right. So Moses knew who he was. He knew he was an Israelite. He knew he was a Hebrew. His mother really raised him. If you know the story, the mother was the maid of the princess. She's the one that was nursing him, taking care of him, and raised him up. So Moses knew who he was. That whole story they try to tell you, that it was like he just found out. Nah, he knew he was a Hebrew. He knew he was Israelite. But he didn't know how his people would be treated to that extent until he went out and saw it for himself. It's kind of like somebody that grows up in the suburbs. You can watch and hear about stories on TV, but until you go and really walk in the hood and see how it is, then you'd be like, damn, that's what happened to Moses right here. You know, he's seeing Egyptians smiting the Hebrews. So everybody else, that was a normal day. To the Israelites that were living out there, you see the police roughing somebody up, beating them up. It's another day in the hood. It's another day being a slave in Egypt. But Moses, knowing a better way of life, that's not how the soldiers treat him. When Moses come through, yes, my Lord, they bow, you know what I'm saying? They move out the way. They open up the door for him. He thinking this is how the world is. He come out, he's seeing like, hold on. These is my brothers. Why are y'all treating them like this? You don't treat me like that. If you would have done me like this, I know what would have happened. My father, the Egyptians, you know what I mean, the adopted father, them cats would have fall on you. So that's the spirit that he had. You know?
And he looked this way and that way. And when he saw that there was no man, he slew the Egyptian and hid him in the sand.
He did what?
He slew the Egyptian and hid him in the sand.
Right. Go ahead, talk about.
I like that part how they say, if you look this way, we look that way.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Ain't that just how niggas do? You know,
Right.
They let me see if the coast is clear, and then, you know what I'm saying, then they do the act.
Right. Damn right. You know what I mean? Yeah, Moses was a real one. That's what he was. You know what I mean? He looked this way, he looked that way. He said, hold on, man. They don't even tell you how he killed him. That's what I want to know. You know what I mean? We get the kingdom. I'm going to ask you homicide questions like that. Like, how did he do it? Did he stab him up? Did he choke him out? Did he, you know what I mean? Put him in a figure four? How did he kill this Egyptian? But he put that heathen to death for messing with his brothers. And that's the spirit that we need to have. Now, I mean, man, I don't want to say nothing wrong. I know we have heard before, like, technically, was Moses not supposed to do that or what? Because it sounds like self-defense to me. Now, according to the laws or whatever, maybe he could have stopped them and see if they would have took the order. But today, we know if something like that is going on, man, you don't sit there and watch your brother get choked out like George Floyd. Right? If you in the UPK, you are part of this military, you see a black man getting choked out, don't pull out your phone, man. Push that goddamn officer off him. And if you gotta die that day, man, at least you went out in a righteous way, because Moses risked his life for that brother too. We're gonna find out about it the next day, because what happened was, let's see. Keep going.
Oh, God. And when he went out the second day, behold, 2 men of the Hebrews strove together.
Right, you see two Israelites fighting each other. This is the only thing that's been okay for black people in our community, is to fight each other. We can go against each other, but when it turns to these heathens, we're not allowed to fight them. We're not allowed to fight back. We're supposed to sit there and get, what's that called? Be a pacifist. That's what Martin Luther King was. That word right there, man. I'm gonna look that one up. That's an evil word. You ain't gonna find that in the Bible. Matter of fact, can you look that up on your phone up? And I'm gonna comment on something that Kabbalah Bond says. He said the reason they attacked the brother is because they still consider us as bondmen. Just like the dude on Django said, she is my property. Therefore, I can do what I want with my property. Kevin Gates had a song like that. That was the intro of his song. The brother sounded out of his goddamn mind. But the brother said in the intro of the song, he said, I didn't know it was illegal to beat your HOE. He said, she yours, you know what I'm saying? I thought it was legal to beat his woman, as he was saying. Like, that's the mentality you get from your person. Since you own something, you don't see it as a human, you see it as property. You have a car, you're right. People got music videos every time. They got movies, wherever. They buy cars to blow them up, to break the windows out, to flatten the tires for the video, for the movie. It's their property. It's not vandalism. It's their property. You're not supposed to treat a human being like that. You can't treat a person like that just because you feel like you own them. And that's even with us. That's another thing. It's cool for us to, you know, imagine what we're going to do to these heathens in the kingdom and all that. You know what I mean? But I even seen Jeremiah even say, like, some brothers need goddamn psychological evaluation. You know what I mean? Like, brothers going too deep into it. Like, at the end of the day, we're going to give them, we're going to give us justice. What they deserve is going to be justice. But outside of that, you just can't wake up in the morning. Christ ain't just going to allow you, oh, I feel like going, you know what I mean? They're going to have to break a rule, break the order, break some law, you know what I mean, to get put to death. We still going to have order in our kingdom. We're not going to be like them and treat them like they treat us. But a lot of them is going to get put to death. And they're going to get it in the worst way because of the things they've done. But it ain't just because we feel like doing that. Go ahead. I see talking about. Go ahead.
Like it said, but it does say reward is double.
There you go. But why? What does that mean?
I'm thinking, you know, the 800 years or 40 years.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But then, you know,
That's
you
cool.
know what I'm saying? And I don't know if I'm thinking carnal or if I'm wrong, but, you know, I'm thinking, you know, the violence towards like Brother Jacob.
There you go. Pull it out. Give me Revelation 18:6. Nah, you right up. And that's what I'm saying. Even in that, it's just, it's righteous. It ain't because of no reason. Revelations 18:6. Matter of fact, go up a verse or two. Let me see. Go up 2 verses.
This is the book of Revelation, chapter 18, verse 4. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins,
Right.
and that ye receive not of her plagues. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and God has remembered her iniquity.
You remember what?
Her
You
iniquity.
remember all the sins that these devils have done to us. All the evils that they've committed against our people. Keep going.
Reward her even as she rewarded you.
Do what?
Reward her even as she rewarded you.
She gave us all of this death, all of these lynchings. They said it was over 5,000 lynchings that happened, I believe, from the end of slavery to about the 1940s, 1950s. And there's a okay, you're gonna have to wait a second. It is in the car in the front seat, if you can, sis. In my car. It's open. In the front, it's a bag in the front seat. All right, the water. But yeah, he's saying reward them. Read it again.
Reward her even as she rewarded you.
crying. Like I said, it was over 5,000 lynchings that happened, and those are the ones that's documented. Those are the ones that's recorded. If you ever hear about a city, I'm gonna show you something too as well. Like how many homicides in Chicago 2020. Let's see. 2020 Chicago, let's see. Yeah, it's perfect right here too. So as of 2020, December 31st, the city recorded 774 murders in 2020, right? What you don't always hear about is how many shootings there were. You hear about the deaths in Oakland. You hear about how many people got killed in LA and Compton. They don't usually tell you how many shootings there were. 774 people died in 2020. How many shootings do you think there were in 2020? Go ahead.
So I'll just guess, like 4 times that many, 5 times.
What's that number? 7 times 4 is what?
21,000.
21, 28. That's close. 3,237. Yeah, 3,237, man. You're right. Damn near like about 4 or 5 times the amount. That's how those lynchings were back then as well. You hear about 5,000 lynchings, but it was 20,000 other instances where somebody didn't die. You know what I mean? Like, that's why they say black people, we don't die, we multiply. You hear 744, you're like, God damn, that's a lot of people. But for the people that live in Chicago, really in the midst of it, they really been around 3,000 shootings. There's a whole lot more activity going on. Niggas ain't dying every time. Somebody got shot in the leg, somebody got shot in the arm, somebody just didn't get hit at all. Their car just got shot up. But all of those things were traumatic events that were going on. So brothers been hard to kill for a long time. Every time they killed somebody, they lynched somebody, that doesn't mean that was the only incidence of violence that happened against us. Somebody else that got jumped over here. Somebody else that got their eye taken out over there. Somebody else got their arm cut off. That didn't get recorded in all these incidents. You know what I mean? So, one more time. So, like, I know I get long-winded, but read verse 6.
Reward her even as she rewarded you.
Keep going.
And double unto her, double according to her work.
Right, this is what Tazapah was talking about. That's what's going to have to happen to them. Double the things they've done to us is going to have to happen to them. Because even if it was even Stephen, these devils would still not understand. They still would not change. Their pain has to be something more because their conscience is so low. Even after all of that, guess what? They're still not going to change. And that's why they're going to have to be taken off of the entire planet Earth. You know what I mean? That's going to get us into our next topic. Let's see anything else on that. That's it on that. So let's go from this. Anything else? Let's go into some. We're going to talk about these UFOs. I got something on my phone. Let's see if it's able to play on here. I know we talked a little about it last week, there was a guy, they say he's a whistleblower. He went in front of Congress, United States Congress. He's talking about how he has been seeing these unidentifiable objects, UFOs. Now I think they call them UAPs, right? Anything else you want to add on that, talk about? Because I know you kind of had to move around. What's going on and paying them double. So yeah, we're gonna pay them double, but it's gonna be righteous. You know what I mean? Because they deserve that double treatment. So they definitely gonna get. It ain't gonna be pretty for them. I ain't saying that. I ain't saying give them a break. But I'm saying the way the general was talking about it, when brothers get to go into, I want to pull their fingernails out. I want to have a slow drip of water on their forehead. And then after 1,000 beats in his head, general like, man, just chop his goddamn head off. You know what I'm saying? Like, we ain't about to be sitting here doing no soft activities with these devils and figuring out a way how to pull every teeth out, then put it back in his mouth, then pull it out. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is, you know what I mean? They just gonna get put to death. They gonna get, you know what I'm saying, killed. And it's gonna be glorious in the Lord's eyes. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's how I saw the general. He was saying that one time. He just was like, some of you brothers, yeah, me rolling. That remind me of a brother, man. Shout out to the officer Kabata Mop, man. If he watching this to see this out in Arizona, that brother be getting into it with them Edomites, man. He can't wait for justice to come. That brother got some, you know what I mean? Some zeal for the work of the Lord. Sometimes we gotta tell the brother, calm down, Doc. Calm down. The Most High in Christ. But yeah, going into these UFOs, let's go to Obadiah. Obadiah 1, I believe, in verse 9. Obadiah 1 and 9. Let me see if that's what I want. Nah, matter of fact, let's go up to verse 3. Matter of fact, start at verse 1. Yeah.
This is the book of Obadiah, chapter 1, verse 1. The vision of Obadiah. Thus saith the Lord God concerning Edom. We have heard a rumor from the Lord, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle.
Right. The Lord is saying that there's going to be war that's coming for the children of Edom, coming for the children of Esau. And I saw a brother also posted there, also Hazal, out of headquarters. He posted something that said that the Jewish people today believe that the Romans were the children of Esau. And then I posted something that I came across about a year or so ago where there was a Jewish rabbi in his class. He was teaching that all of the children, all of the Europeans are the children of Esau. Even the Jewish people admit that. If you want that link, I'll send it to you. You know what I mean? He said the Russians, the French, the Germans, they're all the children of Esau. That's how he said Esau. You know what I mean? He said the Americans, they're all the children of Esau, not the blacks. He said that, you know what I'm saying? Not the blacks. Now he went left with it because they trying to be Israelites. He said, no, they're the blacks are the children of Ham. They come from out. He tried to put us as Hamites. Of Ham. Ham, yeah, he tried to say we Hamites. You know what I mean? But in reality, they don't want to be Edomites, but they're the real Edomites. And for them to be Israelites, we have to be Hamites. You know what I mean? We have to be another nation. And it's just so easy for them to convince the world we Hamites because of our dark skin and our curly hair. Go ahead.
That's crazy because, you know, they damn near push that Hamite stuff on us.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They support us being Hamites.
Right.
So, you know what I mean?
It has to be. And they, like you said, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of, well, think about it. what's the big industry that those small hats run? The small hats. I'm saying it for the Jewish people. The yarmulkes. That's what we say to be on YouTube without getting flagged. You know, they wear a little small hat. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Small hats.
Yeah.
What's the big industry that they run? Damn right. And so is it a coincidence that when New York started rapping, everybody was rocking the African medallions and the red, black, and green? They putting all these caps on the industry. That helps them to feed us to love Africa. You know what I mean? So I would not put it past them that they put that in. They signed them people like that for a reason. Go ahead.
Like I said, I was gonna say, but they still can't answer where the other 11 tribes are.
Right. Damn right. They know everything else, but they don't know where the 11 tribes is at. They don't know who they are. They just, all of them is living a lie. But in reality, they do know. They know that they Edomites. Matter of fact, I'm gonna play the clip real quick. See if y'all can hear it real quick on the speaker. So when he's saying Esau,
all the Europeans are children of Esau.
Esau.
Russia, France, England, French people, Danish people, Swedish people, Scandinavians, United States, all the Americans, not the blacks. The blacks came from Africa.
That's my favorite part. You know what I mean? Not the niggas. Definitely not them. We know they ain't Esau. But they come from here trying to say.
Africa from Ham. But all the white people in America are all children of Esau. Dutch, German, Irish, British, they are all from Esau. Half of the world is Esau, or more. And the other half is almost all of them Ishmael. So between Esau and Ishmael, all the Europe.
That's a little clip, you know what I mean? So even they admit that the majority of white people are Edomites. And what does the Bible say about Edomites? You see what I mean? I go back and read it again. Verse 1.
Verse 1.
All right.
The vision of Obadiah, thus saith the Lord God concerning Edom. We have heard a rumor from the Lord, and an ambassador is sent among the heathens. Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle.
All of the Russians, all of the Scandinavians, all of the French, all of the Americans, the white people, this is what's going to happen to you. Keep going.
Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen. Thou art greatly despised. The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee. Thou that dwellest in the cleft of that slugget, thou that dwellest in the cleft of the rock.
Right, all right, hold it right there. So now let's tie it back in. They're talking about the UFOs. The UPK, we call them IFOs because they're not unidentified flying objects. They're identifiable flying objects. All right? We know that the real UFOs are manned or controlled by black angels. You know what I mean? And that's in the Bible. And they have a pride amongst themselves that they've come up with something called Space Force because they are getting prepared to go to war with the angels, right? And there's another guy, he's had a lot of interviews on Vlad TV. Recently, his name is Dr. Greer. You know, you can take everything that these devils are saying with a grain of salt. Some things they're going to give you a little bit of truth followed by 1,000 lies. And they give you a little bit more things of the truth by another 2,000 lies. You know what I mean? So you take what they're saying. It's damn near entertainment. But in the midst of that, you are going to come across certain things that we know are true because we've been saying this since 1969. The Bible has been saying it for thousands of years. I'm going to play a clip of him from a documentary he had. And the one thing that stood out, all right, and I'll break it down after I play it. Let's see if y'all can hear it good.
But they will not be able to be permitted, and not for the reasons you think. So this is finally you got in New York City in July 1994. He said to me in 1989, a group of us were trying to do disclosure and involve oversaw President Bush Sr., himself, and the UN Secretary General Perez de Cuellar. And in the course of us putting together the title of planning meetings to do this, Perez de Cuellar, the UN Secretary General, was abducted.
Right. So I'm gonna explain to you what he's saying. He said certain people in the government, including George Bush Sr., they wanted to come out and explain that these UFOs are real and that aliens are real. And in the midst of them getting ready to go bring this to the United Nations, one of the secretaries gets abducted. So he's saying now that these people in charge, this secret government or organization that's hiding all this information about the UFOs, they faked an abduction. They made him think he was getting abducted by aliens, but really it was some agency that was doing it. So that's what he's saying right here, right?
His name in Manhattan. He was told by the aliens that if they did not cease and desist from their plans to disclose this information, that every world being involved, including the President of the United States, would be abducted.
Right. So they tell him in this abduction, hey, if you keep talking about what's going on, we're going to abduct the president. We're going to abduct all these world leaders. We're going to do some crazy stuff, right? This is what the fake aliens are saying. Who knows what is going on in this story right here, right? But I want y'all to hear something that's key, right? Let's keep going.
But they an atomic bomb in the Bush White House, and it did not go forward. I said, okay, well, tell me more. He says, well, we concluded that we have to prepare the public for interplanetary war. And doing
Hold on. They're saying they have to get the public ready for interplanetary war. They have to get the people on Earth ready to go to war with beings from another planet. And so this is going to take time for them to get to this point, right?
so we can then also force the return of Christ. Unquote.
Hold on. Did y'all hear what he said?
Yeah,
I'm going to bring that back real quick. This is the part I wanted y'all to hear, yeah?
Doing so, we can then also force the return of Christ.
Y'all heard what he said? What did he say?
The aliens
What?
was saying something about the aliens going to bring back the return of Christ.
Right. Doing this and getting ready for this planetary war, they can force the return of Christ. And I'm watching the documentary, you know, I'm halfway dealing with my kids and Maria. I'm just trying to do a little research to see what these people are saying, because all of a sudden it's cool to talk about UFOs now. It's cool. You don't look like a crazy person no more, because they're going in front of the news and they're going in front of CNN and saying that these things are real. And he's one of the top guys in this field. He has a lot of history dealing with this information. So he has a documentary out, and I'm watching it. I didn't expect him to say nothing about Yahweh. I didn't expect him to say nothing about Christ. But even them, they know something to do with these aliens has to do with Christ. You know what I'm saying? So that's the reason why in the UPK we've been telling our people the truth. Now here's the thing. His whole narrative in the documentary is saying that America, or whoever these governments are that's running this, is trying to go to war with the aliens, quote unquote. But he is saying he's talked to them, he's been with them or communicated with them. He's like, nah, the aliens are peaceful. The aliens don't want no problems with America or with the world. He is like, man, they have evolved people. They wise. He said, if they really wanted to go to war with us, they could have been shut down the world. They could have been destroyed us. He said, game, check, match, over. Like, I'm like, damn, what's the angle of this devil? Why is he saying this? So he keeps going out, and the whole this documentary, he's trying to convince people that the aliens are cool, and it's really the government that's making up this war between us and them so they can start a world government. But when you come into the truth, you understand that if he has this perspective that they are real and they have done nothing to us, that means they're peaceful. He's sadly mistaken. Go ahead.
So I can also ask, do we know why they believe in the word? Like why they believe it's actually going to happen?
What do you mean? I'm trying to understand what you're saying.
People said like the alien or the people said that they think they could force the second coming of Christ.
Right.
Because is there anything specific that makes them believe in the word that it's going to happen? And if they do believe in that it's going to happen, why don't they believe in the fact that they're going to be destroyed?
You want to take a shot at it, talk about? Go ahead.
I believe because all the prophecies of the Bible, the whole prophecies have all come true. Most High delivers on all his promises.
What was that last part you said?
I said the Most High delivers on all his promises.
Right. Let me see. Let's see. Give me James chapter 2 and verse 19. And then, matter of fact, before you get that one, let's go to this one. Give me Matthew 8 and 28. That's a good question. It's a good question. Let me get there with you real quick.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 8, verse 28. And when he was come to the other side into the country of the Gergesenes, there met him two possessed with devils, coming out of the tombs, exceeding fierce, so that no man might pass by that way.
Right. So they met him two possessed with devils coming out of the tomb. There's two people that were, they stand in the cemetery. The only place that they could be at was the cemetery. They got devils, demons on, right? Keep going.
And behold, they cried out, saying, what have we to do with thee, Jesus, thou Son of God?
Mm-hmm.
Art thou come hither to torment us before the time?
Right. So these devils that are inside of these people, they recognize who Yahushua was. And they ask him, are you coming here to torment us? Because they know the power that Christ has. Right? Keep going.
And there was a good way off from them a herd of many swine feeding. So the devils besought him, saying, if thou cast us out, suffer us to go away into the herd of swine.
Right. So they begging him for some kind of mercy. They don't want to go through something different that they know Christ has the power to do. All right. So with that, go to the other one I wanted was at James 2 and 19. So basically, I'll say it to you like this. The demons, just like these oppressors, know who Yahushua is. They know who Christ is. They know these scriptures. They study these scriptures. What do people always say? Keep your friends closer than what? Your enemies closer. That's your oppressor. He knows that the children of Israel are his enemies. So what does he have to do? He has to study them. This is where you get the book of Josephus. Josephus was a historian. We got the book right here. Hey, Kalea. You have to quiet down. All right. But they had him write down and explain the Bible and write down the history of the Israelites because the Romans wanted to study our people, wanted to study our nation, right? All right. So that's part of it. All right, go ahead.
This is the book of James, chapter 2, verse 19. Thou believest that there is one God. Thou doest well, the devil also.
Right.
Believe and tremble.
Right. Hold on. Read one more time.
Oh, God. Thou believest that there is one God. Thou doest well.
Right. Like you good because you believe in one God. The children of Israel, the Sadducees and Pharisees, they believed in one God. Everybody that was living there believed in one God. But keep going.
The devils also believe and tremble.
Right. The devils also, like the demons, they understand, they believe in the Most High in that sense. So he's trying to say, read the next verse.
But wilt thou know, O vain man, that faith without works is dead.
Right. It's one thing to believe that something is real. It's another thing to obey what that thing is saying to do. Right. Go ahead.
So there's a difference between, so are these devils, these spirits, like actual entities that can communicate with people? And they're different from, say, different spirits that people can have on them?
What are you talking about? In this precept right here, or are you talking about what's going on with the UFO?
This one, the devils also believe, as well as like in Matthew. Are those devils that are entities that are outside of human, like the human realm, like to communicate with people?
So this one can be, sometimes it's twofold. So, like, you know, in Revelation you just read, it says the earth has become the habitation of devils. So we have devil, like we say the oppressor is the devil, the Bible speaks of. Sometimes the word devils means like a demon, or somebody has a spiritual demon. So it can be taken on twofold. So in this context, it's saying that more so people that are like you're saying, the white man is the devil. Like the devils, they believe and tremble too. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead. But also the demons as well, because they obey the Lord as well. You know what I mean? Go ahead.
So in the previous verse, Yahushua was he speaking to actual entities that were like?
Oh yeah, definitely.
They weren't just like the evil spirit that the men had on them. They were conscious. Were they conscious in the men?
Wait, okay, you losing me. Go. It was definitely an evil spirit. It was what we call demons. It's angels, right? That their job is to get you to sin, right? Okay, go ahead.
That's like just a rhetorical question. Like, were they spirits that had information outside of the men that they possess?
Go ahead, talk about.
I believe you said that there were your questions you're asking. Are they speaking through the men?
Not that they're speaking, like, not that they're speaking through the men, but are they actual separate entities that have knowledge that the men that are speaking don't know? Or do the men just understand who he is and they just have
I think it's good. I understand. So basically, let's go back to it real quick, and we move for time's sake. So basically, I'll give it to you. It was what Christ was dealing with. We'll go a little bit further in that verse, and it'll show you and explain what happened. Was that Matthew? What was that? 8 and 28. We go to 29 at this point. Maybe. Let's go to verse 31.
Verse 31. So the devils besought him, saying, if thou cast us out, suffer us to go away into the herd of swine.
Right, just like we were saying before. I think last week we were talking. that the disciples couldn't cast out certain demons, couldn't cast out certain devils. These cats, go ahead.
So my question is like, are evil spirits like, could have an evil spirit that keeps you that, like you have seizures or something like that, they can cast out those spirits. But would that be considered a different spirit than this one that's actually communicating like with knowledge of him being a devil or being an evil spirit?
I think I'm fully understanding. Let me take a shot at what basically, let's just look at it like this. You got angels, you got demons. They're the same exact thing, they have a different mission. You go to court, right? You have a prosecutor and you have a defense attorney. The defense attorney, right? The prosecutor's job is to bring charges amongst you and try to get you convicted and found guilty, right? And the defense attorney's job is to, no matter whether you did it or you didn't do it, is to get those charges dropped. The angels are there to protect you and fight for you, whether you've done something wrong or not. The demon's job is to accuse you. Satan's job, you know what I'm saying? Is to try to entrap you, try to get you to fall, to be weak. So hold on. So the demons are just like angels. They have knowledge from the Lord. You understand what I'm saying? So what Christ was dealing with, he was talking to them on a spiritual level. He wasn't talking to you. He's talking to the demon that's possessing you. And that demon definitely has knowledge and understanding because he's an angel. You know what I mean? So is that like, where's the miss?
Like I said, so I think I'm having trouble with, like I understand like you can have a demon, like there's an evil spirit that causes you to continuously smoke weed or something like that.
Right.
And would that be the same as if Christ talking to that spirit specifically? And how is it that spirit, like I'm not sure, are they the same type of spirit?
What you say?
Are they the same type of spirit, like the same spirit that can make you?
Like I said, so it's not. You gotta look at it like this. It's not like you go to the realm of the angels and it's like a weed dispensary. If I'm here, and correct me if I'm wrong, you go to the weed dispensary, they got this type of kush, this type of Bubba Kush, Granddaddy Perks, Sativa, anything, blah, blah, blah. They got 1,000 different. I need to summon the weed demon. Go. I need to summon the crack demon. Go. I need to summon the whore demon. Go. No. They're all angels. They're all demons. They've been assigned to you. You like weed. So he's going to tell you in your ear, you should smoke weed. Remember when your cousin got shot? He's going to tell you in your ear, you're depressed about it, you should smoke weed. If you have an issue with dealing with whores, he's going to tell you that, damn, you see that girl over there? You should give her a call. Remember your ex? You should give her a call. You know what I mean? Who cares? She got a boyfriend right now. Don't matter. She look good. Look at the post she made. He's going to try and get you to do what you are lusting after. And that's in James. Give me James 2. Well, hold that one too. Somebody else. Oh, let's finish this one, but remind me to go to James. So let's see where we're going though. I'm trying to catch up to what you, but it's still not clear yet. James 1, somewhere, verse 13. James 1:13.
Will come. This is the book of James, chapter 1, verse 13.
Right.
Let no man say when he is tempted, I am tempted of God. For God cannot be tempted with evil, neither tempted he any man.
Right. You go on.
But every man is tempted when he is drawn away of his own lust and enticed.
Right. So that's, you have a lust for smoking weed, and the demon knows it, and he's using that against you. It's not like he's a weed demon. He's got all the knowledge on weed just to be a specific type of demon, right? All right, go ahead, tell us about
Yeah, so what I've learned, like, these demons, like, ancient,
Right.
they know everything about you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They can make you feel bad about your grandma, bring up all old memories and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? But what I know is that the demon's job is to absolutely kill you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's why they asked Christ to be put into the pigs so they can do their job and kill something. That's why the pigs all ran off and jumped into the ocean.
Right.
The demon's job is absolutely to destroy you.
That's a good point right there. That's something that is the demon's job, is to get you to die, get you to kill yourself, get you to harm yourself, get you to get in a position where you are taking out what the Lord says your life is done. But all right, let's go back where you at with it.
To clarify, how is it that Yahweh Shai is speaking directly to these spirits? It's like I'm not in trouble. It's like if someone has a spirit that causes them or entices them to do one of the things that they lust for, you're not actually conversing with that spirit that person has. But how is it that Yahweh Shai is
Wait, you kind of lost me right there. So you sitting at home, right?
Huh.
And you're like, damn, I'm gonna smoke a blunt right now, right?
So I think,
What do you think is going on? Go ahead.
so it's like if I see someone, right, and they're constantly smoking every day, it's like they can't stop. They want to stop, but they can't.
Right,
I would know that they have a spirit on them.
right,
But if you were to speak to them,
right,
you're speaking to them. You're not speaking to the spirit,
right.
or like they wouldn't be aware, or they wouldn't even be aware that they have the spirit on them.
And that's the difference. So you sometimes you will be talking to them.
To the spirit.
Yes, you don't know it because your eyes are not open to see it. That's why, as a priest, sometimes you dealing with somebody and they get to spazzing out on you. You see it all the time. In the streets, it's more easy now, brother. You know what I'm saying? You dealing with it. We all dealing with it in our relationships, whatever, dealing with people in life, right? But you go outside, you see somebody. It's easy to kind of understand what like dope heads. They sitting out there. They say all kind of crazy stuff. They look straight at you. I've seen it before. You know, in the town of A, you molested me. I ain't never seen you in my life. She's talking to something else that either happened to her or the demon is talking. She's out of her mind, but that's not her. That's why Christ was able to get them off of these people and they start acting normal again. They're like, oh, how you doing? That's not them. So when you're sitting here, you're thinking, oh man, I want to smoke. You think it's your own thoughts, but in reality, the demon is disguising himself as your voice in your head. So you think you want to smoke, but it's not you. It's actually a demon sounding like you in your mind. You know what I mean? So hopefully that's getting in the tough spot. Get that onto it. And like I said, I want to make sure you get answers. Don't worry about it. We can keep coming back and forth till we get things clear out. There's no smoke. Yeah.
This reminds me, and this is how you know what I'm saying, the demons, you know what I'm saying, free from the UPK. Salakia, sir.
Right.
I want to bring back. Remember that one time we was going to Camp in Frisco, right?
Right.
And it was walking through the Tenderloin, right?
Right.
And that lady was cowering in the little building, and he was like, see that? You see the demons on her?
Mm-hmm.
And the lady was just like in the corner, right? You remember that, sir? The lady was in the corner, right? And he was like, how about you see the demons on her, right?
Mm-hmm.
You remember that, sir?
Sound familiar? I mean, see a little bit
You know
more.
what I'm saying?
Because
He was going to camp.
Right. But what happened after that? That was just it.
You just walked by, but the lady was just, she turned and she looked, and she had this little look on her face, like light-skinned lady. She was a black lady, but she was kind of pale. And she turned and she just looked at us, and she was like hiding in the corner, right there in the stairwell.
Because it was like she seen the priest coming. She seen
it. He was like, look, you see the demons on her? You pointed her out.
Yeah.
Remember that?
I remember you talking about
that. That just the whole conversation. Just, you know what I'm saying? That popped in my head. I wanted to bring that out.
Oh, yeah, Most High in Christ. Yeah, that's how it is. And so, kind of going back to the brother's question. So now Christ he has a spirit on him where he sees things in the spiritual realm and in the physical realm. So that's how he's communicating with them. So maybe the last point I'm thinking we missing, like you think you're trying to ask, was it like the person using his voice through him, or a little bit?
Yeah, is it like in this situation, is it like the movie The Exorcist where there's an actual demon possessing them
Yeah,
and it's the demon talking?
yeah.
And with that, so my question is that different from, say, someone with a spirit that causes them to continuously like seek out prostitutes or smoke weed? Or is it different?
No, that's the same thing. That's the same thing. Yeah, yep. That's the exact same thing. It's just like I said, it's you thinking it's your voice in your head. It's really some outside entity that's talking to you. Hold on. Talk about that.
But it was multiples, right?
Exactly. Yeah, we didn't get to
It was like
legions.
Legions.
They said it was many
Yeah, you know what I mean?
inhabitants in these brothers.
Yeah,
There's a legion of them. You know what I mean? And that's what's deep about that. Let's see if we get to that point.
It's a whole flock of it.
Right. Let's get to that point. We can, for time's sake, we're going to, what was it, Matthew 8 and 20 or 30? Where we at? Let's see, 32. When did he cast out? So this one, I don't think it said the legion part on here. But it does. Let's just go ahead and read it. But the same story in a different part, it says, they call us legion because we are many. Right. It might be in the Luke. Mark 5 and 9. And I did want to bring up another precept. So I'm wondering, I don't know if this is the exact same account. It might be a different account. But no, let's see. I think it's the same account, just in a different way. So let's see if this can give a better understanding. Let's see, go to verse. Yeah, it is the same account. Start at verse 2, Mark 5 and 2. Come on down.
It's the book of Mark, chapter 5, verse 2.
See walking demons. Smoke the Bible. A gang of demons, see walking demons. Like, go ahead.
Verse 2. And when he was come out of the ship, immediately there met him out of the tombs a man with an unclean spirit, who had his dwelling among the tombs, and no man could bind him, no, not with chains, because that he had been often bound with fetters and chains, and the chains had been plucked asunder by him, and the fetters broken in pieces. Neither could any man tame him.
Right. So even I remember when we had Dare, I don't know if Dare, he might have been past Dare. Dare never came to your school. The drug, I'm talking to young men.
Oh,
The drug, Dare, you don't know what the Dare program is, huh?
I knew they had it for alcohol.
Oh, okay. Oh, they changed it up. We was kids, they used to come and try to scare us. I remember the one time they told us about PCP. I never heard of Sherm until that cop came. He was like, man, they be hard that Sherm. I seen them break handcuffs. You know what I'm saying? They tell us all these stories. But when you're on that dope, an average man, you can't break handcuffs because it's not because you can't do it. It's because you're not willing to break your wrist to do it. The average person, their mind is going to stop because it hurts. So they're not going to keep going. But you on this dope, that demon is so powerful on you, you keep going, your wrist broken, it's bleeding, you just, that's what this dude was doing here. And that's how you know it's real, because these same things are happening today. They was trying to put these iron fetters on him in the Bible days, and he breaking the chains. The same thing happens today. It's definitely true. I've heard of numerous stories where niggas off of Sherm do stuff that is like you would think is impossible because their strength is so strong, because they're so high. But it's really because that demon is taking full control of their body. You know what I mean? It's the same thing, right? Let's keep going.
Oh, God.
5.
And always, night and day, he was in the mountains and in the tombs, crying and cutting himself with stones.
Right.
But
You hear about them type of things today. White girls, different people, they cut themselves. Same stuff happens to this day. You going?
But when he saw Jesus afar, when he saw Yahushua afar off, he ran and worshipped him and cried with a loud voice and said, "What have I to do with thee, Yahushua, thou Son of the Most High God? I adjure thee by God that thou torment me not." For he said unto him, "Come out of the man, thou unclean spirit." And he asked him, "What is thy name?" And he answered, saying, "My name is Legion, for we are many."
Right. And then drop down to verse 11.
Now there was there nigh unto the mountains a great herd of swine feeding, and all the devils besought him, saying, "Send us into the swine, that we may enter into them." And forthwith Yahushua gave them leave, and the unclean spirits went out and entered into the swine. And the herd ran violently down a steep place into the sea. There were about 2,000 and were choked in the sea.
God damn. That brother had 2,000 demons inside of him. That's why he was so damn strong. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, talk about.
That reminds me of like Salakia, sir. But like, how did he have so many? Because like, you know, how long was he fighting these demons? Because like, when you clean your body up, you clean yourself up. You know what I'm saying? And the demon comes back and try to enter you. He comes with like 7 more demons.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, you know, how long was his brother in a battle with some demons before, you know what I'm saying, he came across the outside? That's crazy. He had 2,000.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You can never know, man, what he did to get to that level or what happened, you know what I mean? But yeah, that brother was he's in the tombs, cut himself. That kind of lets you know. And that's real. You really can think about it that way. Like coming to the truth, you can see the spiritual way that makes sense. When you come in, you might be like, damn, I'm fighting this, I'm fighting that, I'm fighting that. You might knock this off, knock that off. You're like, damn, it's a thorn in my side. Eventually you kick that off, you know what I mean? You feel good. Some people is in the streets of Oakland right now. I saw a sister in Frisco, man. I was in the world. And I'm like, I don't know what type of dog. I know we be talking about this all the time because about like some stuff out here in the Bay is different. They don't have this stuff everywhere. I don't know what they be mixing and cutting, or they get more high potency. But the sister was she was washing her hair in the puddle, like in the street. You know what I mean? You go across the street, it's a nasty puddle. She was sitting there washing her hair. I'm walking with my partner. It's an older black lady. You know, we call her Monty and shit. And the Lord convicted my spirit. I'm in the world still. I'm just like, hey! You know what I mean? I yelled out from the car. I'm like, hey! She lifted up. I'm like, you know what I mean? I'm like, knock it off. Like, she got up and she ran off. But it's just like, how many demons is on her to get you to that point where that's something I never had. You know what I mean? Like, I had 3, 4, 5 these demons. She's dealing with 500 different demons going on. Right? I mean, so it is different levels to that with people. You never know what happened to them to allow that to, get to that point. But a lot of women, obviously, molestation. Maybe she didn't get molested by one person. She might have got molested by 15 people. This brother over here, he got this demon where he want to pop Xanax because he killed one person. This nigga over here is shooting heroin because he killed 15 people. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a different, you never know. You know what I mean? But let's keep going up, and then we're going to go back into the, I just want to see where it says, Keep going. Verse 14.
And they that fed the swine fled and told it in the city and in the country. And they went out to see what it was that was done.
Mm-hmm.
And they come to Yahushua and see him that was possessed with the devil.
Right, so they see the same brother that had all these demons on him. Keep going.
And had the legion sitting and clothed and in his right mind. And they were afraid.
Right, so imagine the same person you see him breaking handcuffs, cutting himself, living in the cemetery. Like, they could just hop up out the dirt, he in the mud, cussing, yelling, wild, all over the place. Next thing you know, he's sitting there straight. Hey, Shalom, how about from the outside like a thug? Regular clothes on, yeah, because he was naked too. He was always taking his clothes off. That's classic PCP. They call it, that's the butt naked. Because cats stay coming out their clothes and running around naked, man. So it sounds like, today it sounds like he was on Sherm. Who knows? They had drugs back in the days too, so who knows what got him to that point. But it opened it up. But they were scared to even see him acting like this and to know that Christ had done that. Keep going.
And when he was coming to the ship, verse 17. Verse 16. And they that saw it told them how it befell to him that was possessed with the devil.
Roy, hold up. Well, yeah, read verse 17.
So come. Verse 17. And they began to pray him to depart out of their coast.
You were reading 16? My fault. That was my fault. Go ahead.
Verse 16. And they that saw it told them how it befell to him that was possessed with the devil, and also concerning the swine. And they began to pray him to depart out of their coast.
They asking Christ to leave their city, leave their town. Who knows what the spirit was? Just they were scared of his power. Also, those people that were selling the pigs lost a lot of money with that too. So that might have been the spirit of why they wanted him to leave as well. Kind of like the drug dealers. If this nigga go around healing all the dope fiends, I ain't gonna have no business no more. You mean, go ahead.
Yeah, so they weren't selling the swine.
Mm-hmm.
They were using the swine like
right
to clean their neighborhoods because they didn't have like no garbage system back in the day. So they were using pigs to clean up the trash that they throw out the windows and stuff.
Right.
That's how they kept their neighborhoods clean.
Right. And so yeah, I'm not saying that they were doing that. I'm saying they still mess with their business. Whatever it was, if they were selling the swine to do that, you lost 2,000. You lose 2,000 anything. That's a lot of money. You know what I mean? So they were not feeling Christ. Now I don't know, was it because of just the money that was lost, or was it because they were scared of the power that he had? Or maybe it might have been a little bit of both. You know what I mean?
That's the excellent breakdown.
Right, to ask. And I'm gonna ask the general about that. All right, but yeah, for time's sake, we can go ahead and close out. I might just add on a little bit of going back. So how did we get here? We got here from the dude was, you said, how do these Edomites believe in God? Why are they talking about Christ? Because for one, they see the prophecies of the Bible. They know about the power that Christ had. All those miracles, everything that Christ was doing, all these things that the Israelites have been doing, they see the power that we have, so they know that this is the truth. They just know who they are in the book, so they know how things have to play out. But in their minds, that's why in Obadiah we brought that priest about the pride of you. The pride of them is not going to let them give up. Like if you had a knife, somebody else got an AR-15, 9 times out of 10, most people would just bow out and just give up. Esau is not going to do that. In his mind, he's going to go to war with the Lord. He's going to go to war with the angels. He's going to try to fight the Most High God, no matter what. You know what I mean? And so, like I said, that this information is coming out now because they're trying to get more and more funding to build more and more of their own UFOs to fight against Christ and Him returning. So we can go into a little bit more. I might start off next class with some more precepts that I have. We'll go into this a little bit more. But for now, we're just gonna close out this class. You want to call it, Tazabah? Young man, you know how to call it yet? All right. So we're gonna teach the young man how to do it. So you can close your book and everything. First thing, tell everybody we're gonna give one courtesy salute to the teacher, and then you're gonna tell everybody to imagine the men, brothers. Say imagine.
Imagine.
We're gonna give one courtesy salute to the teacher.
We're going to give one courtesy salute to the teacher.
All right.
Imagine Shabbat.
Yeah, you know how to do it. Then imagine again.
Imagine. Yahweh
That's it, Barak.
Barak. Yahweh Shem Yahshua
Yahweh Shem Yahshua Barakatuh. Yad Yom Matah. Yad.
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 No, Yad.
Yad.
Yad Yom. Yad Yom.
Yad.
Matah.
Matah.
Means hands down.
Yad. Matah.
Right. Sar, face the sisters.
Sar. Turn face the sisters.
Right. So the sisters to stand. Imagine. Right. Give a salute to the sisters.
Give a courtesy salute to the sisters. Imagine Shabbat. Imagine. Barak.
Yahweh Shemar Allah Bashim outside.
Yad Yom.
Yad.